Welcome back to my workshop. Now today we're going to have a quick look at this, which is the PARKSIDE lifting and tensioning tool. It's now January in 2025. These have recently been in the store. They're probably not in there at the moment, but I'm sure they'll come back. Now a lifting and tensioning tool. What's that then? Let's have a quick look. Right, so PARKSIDE are marketing this as a lifting and tensioning tool. So basically what that is it's like one of these, okay? So it's like a normal speed clamp. Obviously this is a PARKSIDE one, but it works in the opposite direction. So when you're pumping it, instead of these jaws closing, they're opening. And instead of these little jaws here, you've got like a metal platform. We'll have a look in a minute, we'll get it out of the box. But what's the point of that? Now, they're marketing it as a lifting and tensioning tool, but a lot of other manufacturers market it as a construction jack. What's that then? Right, so what's a construction jack? And is it the same as this? Well, originally I think the idea came from a company called Viking, who made this construction jack. Okay, this is the current model, but they're about £169, right? Okay, very good, quite expensive. But then you've got these ones, which are the DeWalt ones, which are also £160, ideal for construction work. Then you've got a Stanley Fatmax one, which is slightly cheaper, it's about £120, very similar design. But as most of us know, Stanley Fatmax and DeWalt are very interlocked as far as a company is concerned. So it's probably a very similar design. And finally, you've got an Irving one, which is also associated with DeWalt and Stanley Fatmax. And that's about £88, so that's a cheaper version. But this one is similar to those, but this is actually £7.99. Okay, it's smaller, it hasn't got the same capacity, but it's £7.99. So for most of us DIYers, this will be quite a handy little tool. And because it's £7.99, what they've done is you can get two of them for £14, which is what I've done. All right, I'll go over how you use these in a minute, but first let's get it out of the box. Right, we'll try and look at this without too much glare from the lights. I'll have to do something about that, but I don't know what. Okay, right, this is PARKSIDE, lifting and tensioning for lifting, lowering, tensioning heavy objects. If you buy these, you can read the box yourself, but I'll go over it anyway. Maximum load, 150 kilos. Lifting height, 6 to 230 millimeters. Okay, span width, 140 to 360 millimeters. Okay, so that's how far it can open it out. Some pictures of what you can use it for here. We'll go over that in a moment. And it says on the box here, okay, lifting and tensioning tool for lifting, lowering and tensioning heavy objects. Quick and easy to install, practical one-hand operation, includes hanging hole, maximum load 150 kilos, lifting height 6 to 230 millimeters, span width 140 to 360. We just covered that. Retained packaging, it contains important information. Yeah, probably won't do that. Right, and a picture on the side. Right, let's get it out of the box. Right, so what you get in the box is obviously the tool. Okay, that's the tool. And then you get some instructions. Let's have a quick look at those. I won't spend too much time on that. Okay, lifting and tensioning tool. There's a PDF of it online. So if you scan this QR code, you can probably get this online. A couple of pictures on the components of the device and how you use it for squeezing and for expanding. I'll call it squeezing and expanding instead of lifting and tensioning. A little bit of safety instructions just in case you want to kill yourself with it. How to lift and lower it, pressing and clamping, and then some notes on the guarantee. Okay, so that's all in English. Then it goes on to French and then I think German. Okay, keep hold of that just in case. Right, let's have a look at this. Okay, so this is the device itself, and you literally just that sounds like a seal. Anyway, you click that and this lifts up, so it separates here, and to lower it you push that lever and it goes down. that's the basic operation. We'll show you a few uses of that in a moment. Let's have a look at some components on this device. Right, so starting at the bottom here, you've got the feet and the fingers. All of this, I believe, is steel. Yeah, that's steel. That's steel. Yeah, okay, so this space and the fingers are steel. It's about 100mm wide. Turn it around, and just over 100mm deep. Okay, that's to give you an idea. The thickness, let's have a quick look here. The thickness is, turn that on. All right, the fingers are about 5.8mm. So the base is pressed steel. It's obviously formed, but the actual material itself is almost 3mm thick, 2.5mm thick. But that's formed into a shape that should be stronger. So at least that's metal. This bit here is actually plastic. Okay, this part here is plastic. This part is steel. This part is steel. Springs are steel. This is steel. Handle's plastic. Handle's plastic. It's got a rubber grip on here and some rubber grip where your fingers go. 3 little finger holes. That's good. Okay, it makes an interesting noise. Okay, and at the top here, you've got a little Allen bolt. I'll show you what that's all about in a moment. It's actually loose, so don't lose that. And just above the Allen bolt here, we've got a hole, which I presume is the hanging eye that I was talking about. So you could probably hang this up. Right. So far so good. It looks fairly sturdy. It makes an interesting noise. But let's quickly discuss this Allen bolt on the end here. Okay, even though it's out of focus. What's that for? Well, at the moment, you can use this to lift. Okay, but what if I wanted to compress things with it? Okay, what you do is you take out this nut here. If it's tight, use a little Allen key. Okay, I've never done this. Let's try and do it. And what you do is you push the button, okay, and pull it right off the end. Keep hold of that and then put it in the other way. Okay, so now once that's in, you can now compress things with that. Okay, the principle is still the same, but you're just compressing it instead of extending it. Okay, that's got different uses and we'll go through those in a moment. Yeah, but a word of warning, when you are changing it over, make sure push that and hold it, because certain people I know have done this and the springs go everywhere if you let go. So don't let go. Okay, just feed that back in there, through the hole. And don't forget to put your little grub screw back in. Right, excellent. Shall we lift something or tension something? So what would you use this for lifting? Okay, it could be anything. It could be lifting a cabinet, it could be lifting a washing machine, it could be lifting some furniture, it could be anything. Okay, but if you need to lift something that's heavy, for example, my bench here, okay, if I put this under here, I could just jack it up, one-handed, lifting my bench. Let's have a closer look at that. Okay, so you might say, well, what's the big deal with that? Well, I can lift the bench up on my own, but I can't lift it up and hold it in place. Obviously with this, I can lift it up, okay, with 1 or 2 of these, and wherever I stop, that's where it's going to stay. So if I wanted to do some maintenance underneath the bench or underneath the table or underneath the sofa, it doesn't matter what it is. As soon as you lift it up, it will stay there until you push the lever at the top. And as soon as you push the lever at the top, it can go down again. Now I've seen some reports about this being a bit of an issue because there's not much control when you push this to lower it down. Now obviously the other ones that I was talking about earlier on, the Viking, the DeWalt, the Stanley and the Irwin, they've got a different method of lowering. With this, it just releases it. With those, you can actually jack it down slowly. Okay, this is where the difference is. You're paying hundreds of pounds for those and you're only paying £7.99 for this. Okay, so you get what you pay for. But let's have a quick look at that and see what that's all about. Okay, so I've just jacked up my bench there. There's not a great deal of load on it, but this is oak, okay, and it's got a mitre saw at that end and it's got loads of crap on it. If I just push this button now, it'll just drop. Okay, which is not ideal. Let's see if we can do it under control. So we jack it up again. Okay. Right, I push it down, but I'm actually squeezing the trigger. Right, so you can actually control the descent a little bit. Okay, it might take a bit of practice. Let's have a closer look at that. Okay, so I've got it jacked up. What I'm going to do is pull the trigger and then push down the lever at the top and then slowly lower it down. Okay, if I want it to stop, release the trigger again, same again. Okay, so with a little bit of mucking about, you can actually bring it down under control instead of just going. Okay, just prove that point. Jack, jack, jack. Okay, so you can bring it down under control. That's good. Okay, takes a bit of practice, but it'll work. Right, so now we know we can bring it down under control. While we're talking about lifting heavy things, now this is my SIP table saw, okay? And I know it weighs 177 kilograms. That's a lot, okay? These are only rated at 150 each. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 of these, just see if I can lift this off the floor. Why would I want to do that? Well, what if I wanted to change one of the casters, or I wanted to turn one of the casters round, or remove them, or something like that, if I wanted to get it on a pallet. Okay, so I need to be able to lift it up and then lower it down. Okay, so what I'm going to do with 2 of these jacks, I'm going to try and lift it up a little bit and then lower it down. Simple. Right, so that worked using 2 of these, okay, because obviously I didn't want to exceed the 150 kilogram safe working load of these. That just proves that I can lift up my table saw, which is 177 kilos. I could put it onto a pallet, I could move it, I could change the wheels, etc. Okay, so that's a win. Right, what else would I use this for? Right, you might have to use your imagination a little bit for this. Now this is my laser cabinet, okay, it's the only cabinet I've got handy. But imagine if I was putting a kitchen together and I was putting an end panel, obviously bigger than this, but if I was putting an end panel on here, but I had to line it up to the corners and the front, okay, how am I going to hold that in place and then stick it in, screw it in, or whatever I'm going to do? Okay, so what I need to be able to do is lift this up into place and leave it in position while I fix it. Okay, you might be fixing it from the other side. Okay, so what you can do, using a couple of these, I know this is only small, but let's see if I can put it in position and leave it there. Okay, so that's now holding in position without me doing anything. So if I wanted to screw it from the other side, that'll be easy. And also the addition with the 2 of these, okay, by simply adjusting one or the other, you can adjust its position, yeah, under control. All right, okay, that's just an idea. Now this could be a side panel for a cabinet, or it could be a sheet of plasterboard that you're holding in position. Okay, obviously 2 of these, yeah, easy peasy with 2 of these, a whole sheet of plasterboard. Okay, I don't happen to have one, So this will do. Right, let's use these for something else. Right, again, you might have to use your imagination for this, but if you were to use two of these, so one here and one here, if you were moving a shelf or a cabinet or something into position, we'll simulate it with this piece of timber. Okay, can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. So in theory, I can now jack this up one way or the other way, okay, and then lower it down. Okay, you get the idea, and I can do that under control. So if I wanted to get this level, let me just get a level. Here's a level. Just happens to be a Standy Fat Max one. Let's see how accurate I can get this, leveling it up. Let's put you in position. Try and focus. Wibbly wobbly. Okay, so I can gently jack it up. Okay, that's good. See, that's now all under control. I'm not doing anything else. That's all holding in position. I can now fix that in position and then remove the jacks. That looks like a good idea. Right, if you're anything like me, you're doing stuff in the workshop, you need some material. One source of cheap material is obviously these things. A pallet. Okay, I've got half a pallet here. I'm just wondering if I could actually use the jack to split these pallets. And there's only one way to find out, and that's to give it a go. So let's try that. Right, so I haven't actually tried this yet, so we're going to give this a go. Might have to use two of these, and we're just going to see if we can actually separate this to make our life easier, because breaking pallets is always a pain. Ho, ho, ho. Right, so I honestly didn't know whether that was going to work or not. It did. It was great, okay, and that was quite effortless. Obviously, that relies on there being a pallet slat at the bottom and at the top at the same time, so you can actually push against each other. But it worked. That's great. One thing I haven't mentioned so far is the fact that these can be used for helping when you're hanging a door. Okay, because it's got a low profile here, okay, you can actually get it under a door. If you're lifting a door up and you want to position the hinges in the same way that we actually used it for the side panel on the laser trolley here, okay, you can use these for doors. Now, there's a lot of videos on the internet, especially on YouTube, that actually show you how to use this sort of thing and construction jacks for hanging doors, so I won't go over that. Anyway, what else? Right, looking around the workshop, what else can I use these things for? Right, here I have a jack, okay? Occasionally I fix cars, and this jack is a trolley jack. It weighs a ton. Well, not literally a ton, but it weighs quite a lot. It's the sort of thing you don't want to be picking up. Now, these things, as all machinery, has got to be maintained. So on a bench like this, if you was going to do some maintenance for the wheels or underneath, okay, lifting it up, it's a bit of a pain. Okay, so can we use this, okay, to lift it up to do some maintenance? I think we can safely say, yes we can. Okay, so a jack for jacking a jack. Okay, and obviously this is quite heavy, so try and control it when you let it down. Not like that. Okay, but it's got loads of other uses. So you can use it on a bench for lifting heavy stuff. Let's get this back on the floor. That was a bad lift. Right, I was just quickly setting up for another demonstration here. And then what's happened is one of them is stuck. Okay, it's actually stuck. I pulled the trigger, okay, and now this is stuck. I'm sure I can release that. Yeah, I can release it. But it can actually get stuck, especially if you go too far. Yeah, it's stuck again. Okay, you can recover it. It's easy enough. You just release the button. Okay. But yeah, something to watch for. And be careful, if you oil this, it may slip. Okay, so be careful what you do. Yeah, that's not fantastic, that one. The other one seems okay. Right, next demonstration. Right, so some of the pictures I've seen of this being advertised, it actually shows it being used with laminate flooring. Okay, now sometimes obviously you want to move the laminate flooring or push the laminate flooring across the room, okay, while you're assembling it. Now let's imagine that this is my skirting board and imagine that this is my laminate flooring, even though it is a laminate floor. Okay, what you can do, because this profile here is fairly small, you can actually get that in between there, okay, and then jack the floor across, okay, into whatever position you want. Okay, that's how it demonstrates it. I can imagine that working quite well, but yeah, that's another use. Right, we've quickly covered how to use this as a lifting tool. What we want to do now is quickly give you an example of how you would use this in tension. In other words, using it basically as a big clamp. Okay, as I mentioned before, undo the little grub screw, don't drop it. Okay, push the lever, pull it out, don't let go of this, Rob. Then you just slide it in from the other side. Okay, then you're ready to use that as a clamp or something to compress with. Okay, so let's have a look at the example, how you'd use that. All right, so we've now got this in the tension configuration. Okay, so when we squeeze it, it basically acts like a big clamp. Okay, you treat it like a normal clamp. Why would you use that? Well, if you're into woodworking, say for example, you wanted to join these two pieces of wood together. Okay, so you do your usual, plane the edges, put some glue on it, put them together like that, and you need to hold it together while you're waiting for the glue to dry. It should just be a case of, let's get it in the middle. Okay, get it in your position and tension. Okay, so that's now put these two squeezing together and it's holding it quite well. So yeah, so obviously with the bigger boards you can use multiple ones. Okay, like that. Right, that's the tension side of it. I won't go into that too much more, but I think you get the rough idea. Right, so I think that just about covers it. I don't want this to turn into an advert for Parkside, but I think these are really good, okay? Considering what they can do, I know they're a budget one. I mean, they're £7.99 each or two for 14 quid, but I think I'll actually use them. I'd probably find it hard to justify spending 160 odd pound on a Viking or DeWalt or a Stanley Fat Max one. They're probably much better and I'd love to use one and make a comparison. But I think these are going to be great. Okay, I can use them as clamps, I can use them as spreaders, I can use them as lifters. I think they're going to be good. Okay, they're probably not in the store at the moment. Okay, so this is Parkside, so they'll be in Lidl's. They're probably not in the store at the moment, but they probably will come back into stock. Okay, so keep your eye out. I think that'll do for now. I like these. I think I'm going to use them. Let me know what you think. If you're going to use them, give us a shout, add a comment. Thank you very much for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Okay, and instead of these little teeth and the lifting fingers are actually, right, let's stop. So where is my magnet? Lost me, where's my magnet? Oh, for God's sake. No, here it is, stuck in here. while we're talking about heavy lift, it shows you using, oh God, that's, no, it's not going to work. Didn't think about that, did you, Frank? No. Okay, you undo the Allen grub screw and then you drop it on the floor.